All right, welcome back to another episode of Two Drunk Guys and a Football Podcast. I'm one of your great hosts, Skinny Domestic.
And I am Marcus the Hammer Mary.
So we got a good episode for you this week. The season is back, so fantasy is going to be going hard. We're going to have news, of course, bad betting, our random topic session, whatever you want to call it, and then we're doing a beer review today, so we'll have that included.
And a mock.
And a mock if there's time. I feel like if this starts running too long, nobody wants a 2-hour podcast. So we'll see.
Everyone wants a 2-hour
We'll
podcast.
We'll see.
I'm going to make it run long. Here's my new Justin Jefferson jersey that I got. I got it in the away white.
Yeah, the jersey that you thought I was getting you.
I really thought you were going to get me like a Justin Jefferson shirt or something. But I do enjoy the Arthur Smith shirt quite a lot. I will wear that. I might wear that to the draft.
Good.
To your draft.
Good.
People will be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how I want to do my draft because I kind of want to draft from here and then, have the board and everything like last time. And then, I'm over here with my shit and I can implement it over here while we draft type thing at the same time.
Like you're gonna do a podcast while you do it?
No, I'll just sit at my computer. I mean, I could, and then.
So you're gonna. You better not make me do you have to do half the fucking board, you piece of shit.
Well, because we're gonna be on Discord, so.
You do. I do the first. You have 18 picks, right?
I think you should have to do them all. I feel like that's. You're going to be the co-commissioner. I do everything else for the league.
Fuck you. No, that is not true either. I imported all the players last year. I also did a lot of stuff. I'm a good co-commissioner. Probably some would say the best. I am basically your, you are Joe Biden, or you are Barack Obama. I'm Joe Biden, allegedly. The best vice president of all time.
If you say so.
Fine. I'm Mike Pence.
Am I out here?
You're Trump, I'm Pence.
I'm out here dropping 500 airstrikes on during my 4 years. Is that what you're saying? I'm just dropping bombs. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. I don't know what president I'd be. Probably who was the fat one? Woodrow Wilson. I'd just be the fat guy.
Woodrow Wilson was not fat. That actually bothers me that you don't know about your American history.
Who was the fat one?
You have a fucking American friend. Which one? You talking about Taft? Or
Hoover? Yeah. There you go. A history.
Hoover, I think, was fat.
A history of fat presidents.
Taft was, I believe. Taft was the one that died or fell in the tub and couldn't get up, I think.
Taft had a 42.3 BMI. Cleveland had a 34.6.
Jesus Christ.
McKinley had a 31. Teddy Roosevelt had a 30. But BMI isn't a good indicator on.
No, Taft was fat. I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna look how big.
I thought what's his face was too, Herbert Hoover, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe Herbert is from Iowa, so he's got to be a little bigger.
Stood 6 feet tall and weighed about 250. Weighed more than 300 pounds. Special bathtub was installed for the White House. See,
I guess Herbert Hoover was not that big.
Okay, so they say when he was president, he was weighing at least 350. I've never gotten that high, so.
What did I say? What did I say one time when you were gone? I said you were like 500 pounds or something.
Yeah. What the fucking bastard. Make me feel even worse about.
What'd you say?
Make me feel worse about myself.
Dude, we're fat shaming on Two Drunk Guys in the Football Podcast. Skinny, I've always said you would look terrible skinny. You're a guy that's got to be bigger.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I don't think like you could at the very minimum you could be like big. Not like fat, but I'm talking about like bulky big. Like I feel like if you got like skinny like Tyler, you'd look like fucking
Oh, that would
weird.
not. Yeah, that would be not good. Okay, all right, moving on. Taft was the fat president. I'd probably be more like Taft. I just wouldn't go out the same way. Go ahead with news. What do you got for news?
Connor Williams signs a 1-year, $6 million deal with the Seahawks, $3 million guaranteed. Offensive line piece. I believe he plays guard or center.
He's a center.
I think it's depth. Oh, he's center. Depth. I don't know if he's going to start. I don't know what he's going to do, but that's good. Regardless, he's a decent player. The base Chad Harrison Bucker signs a 4-year, $25.6 million deal with 17.75 guaranteed. He also said that he's not going to apologize for what he said at the church. So at the Catholic church, once he gave this, or no, it was
a graduation.
What school was it?
It was a Catholic graduation.
Yeah, Catholic graduation. He said he's not going to apologize for that, and he stands with what he said. So,
well, I wouldn't apologize either. It's what you believe in. If that's what you believe in, that's what you believe in. People aren't gonna like it, but no, that's a big extension. Makes him one of the highest, or he is the highest paid kicker in the league now.
I would imagine.
And I think like 17 million of that's fully guaranteed. So,
yeah, 17.75 fully guaranteed.
Dang. Making some good money. Well, he's
making big money.
He's a 2-time back. Well, was he? He wasn't on the team when they won the first time, was he?
He might have been.
He's either a 2 or 3-time Super Bowl champion, so fuck it, I guess. You know, pay him.
It doesn't matter. They just win. That's the 2020's dynasty right there. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
It is the new Patriots, unfortunately, but it is.
We'll see. If
3 Super Bowls in
we'll see if it lasts
5
20
years.
but yeah, I agree.
The Cardinals, BJ Ajumba. How do you fucking say it?
Your guess is mine.
Fuck! I said it this morning, and I was like, I just need to remember this for the podcast. It's Aguilar. I feel like he is. I don't know.
I'm not even going to attempt it because I know I can't.
I think he was a first-round pick or like a second-round pick a couple years ago, but suffers a ACL tear, so they sign Xavier Collins to a 2-year, $14 million contract with 11.25 guaranteed. That's decent money for backup. You know, someone coming into play. Xavier Collins is okay, but
Xavier Collins.
I felt like Xavier Collins. Yeah.
You're saying, yeah.
Yeah, Xavier.
Well, Xavier's been with the Cardinals pretty much. I mean, I think that's the only team he's played for, but you might as well bring him in if you got an ACL injury going on. You need to fill that spot and all that.
There's been, unfortunately, a lot of injuries. Justin Herbert hurt his foot. They say he has plantar fasciitis, and it could be, I don't know how long they said. He was in a walking boot, so
I think it was like 2 weeks in a walking boot, and then that pretty much they'll go from there.
I was listening to Stephania Bell. You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
She's like the fantasy football like injury girl.
Mm-hmm.
She said that it might affect him throughout the season, the whole year, possibly. His draft stock has already dropped pretty far because he doesn't have really any weapons, and this team is going to probably be maybe a 58-42 split, throwing the ball 58% of the time, running 42% of the time, maybe more. So I feel like his draft's going to just plummet in fantasy because he just doesn't have anyone to throw to. Lad McConkey and what's his nuts seem like they're his best options. Who's the guy that they had? Joshua Palmer.
They have Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson looks terrible.
Yeah, has not looked good still. But
I've heard a little bit of hype about Brendan Rice.
Yeah, I heard that too. They said he's looking a lot like his dad, so we'll see.
And I have him in a dynasty league. I have Brendan Rice, and you know who else I have? Joshua Palmer, and I need wide receiver help because I waited on running back or waited on wide receiver, so I have Diggs and freaking what's his face? Diggs and old fuck, what's his name? Chargers ex-Chargers wide Keenan Allen. So I'm like literally like, well, hopefully one of these young wide receivers do something. DeAndre Hopkins out 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. That's not good either.
Nah, he'll be back for the season though. It's fine. It gives Calvin Ridley a chance to basically be that number one now, which I think he was.
I think Calvin Ridley already was.
Yeah,
that's a team that low key. I kind of feel like Will Levis is a deep sleeper this year. Like, he has a lot of pieces around him. I mean, the receiving core with Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, and you got that one guy that didn't work out, but still has a fourth receiver.
Yeah.
And they have that Christian Ongabongolage as their tight end and their offensive line. Like, that team might be okay offensively. They might be like a 8-8 or 8-9 team, but they throw for a ton of yards. Puka Nacua suffers a knee injury, is considered week by week. Probably not anything to worry about. Probably more something that they're trying to just be cautious with.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tristan Wirfs agrees to a $140.6 million contract.
5 years.
Which makes him the highest,
Yeah.
Makes him the highest paid tackle, I'd imagine.
Rightfully deserves it. Yeah, he is the highest paid offensive lineman. Yeah, he's been probably either one or two, I'd say, best tackle in the league. I know everybody's like, oh, Trent Williams and this and that. Lane Johnson
Trent Williams is good.
And Tristan Wirfs, to me, have been the best two tackles in the league for the last 2 to 3 seasons. Trent Williams is clearly up there, but like Lane Johnson and Tristan Wirfs have, and then now you're adding in like Penei Sewell and like those guys. This is a contract he definitely deserves.
What a disrespectful comment towards Christian Darrisaw. And Brian O'Neill. And
I think the names I named are all better than him, but
I don't know. Christian Darrisaw is really good.
But Wirfs, I mean, he started as right tackle, moved over to left tackle, so like he's played both sides of the ball.
He's moved around.
Yeah, he's played well at every either side that he's been on, so I definitely well worth the money.
Iowa lineman, Iowa tight end. That's all you want.
Pretty much.
And that's all I have for news.
I have way more. Titans guard Sadiq Charles, he retires. I guess he's been taking during training camp and stuff until he retired. He was taking starter reps, so that'll be big for their offensive line. If he was assumed to be the starter, now somebody else has got to come in and fill that role. At least it's early enough to, find somebody, but big. Ravens sign Russell Gage at wide receiver.
Really?
Yeah.
Old as hell.
CMC, calf strain, out for the preseason pretty much. Just going to rest him. Which, I mean, you're not going to play him in the preseason anyway, but he's out, so he's pretty much minimal to whatever happens with that. And that's what he was dealing with a couple years ago in Carolina, so we'll see how that goes. And he's been healthy the last 2 seasons, so this is the year where his age and injuries might happen. Emmanuel Mosley, torn pec, out indefinitely. So that'll be big. I think he's on the Lions now.
Oh, the DB?
Yeah. So DB depth already was an issue for him, losing that. Eagles signed Shaquille Quarterman to a 1-year deal. I'll take it. Quandre Diggs signs a 1-year, up to $5 million contract with the Titans, so they're just solidifying their defense a little bit there. Tyreek Hill restructured his contract, now worth over $90 million over 3 years, with 106.5 total guaranteed money, most ever a receiver seen. Tariq Cohen retires after being signed by the Jets. Realized it's not going to happen, so probably was going to get cut. So smart to get ahead of that. Matt Breida signs back with the 49ers. He's from 2017 to 2019. He had almost 2,000 rushing yards with them. So
they just can't quit you.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, projecting a CMC injury now, aren't you? Like, they're like, we've had 2 good seasons with him. But they also said that they want to decrease his workload a little bit on CMC because
if he gets hurt and Elijah Mitchell isn't a top 10 running back, like, what are we gonna do? He better not split any touches. Yeah. They better just run that man into the ground.
The first season of Hard Knocks released Tuesday for the Bears training camp.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. It was pretty good.
I didn't know.
They showed the rookie showcase, like the rookie talent showcase that most teams do, and like where they like perform some type of talent in front of the team or whatever. The Bears have a rookie lineman, Theo Benedict, and he did his rookie showcase for him, and he's from Canada. He's Canadian. He comes up, he takes his shirt off, he starts singing "God Bless the USA," and singing, whatever you want to call it, and then. Do you want me to spoil it? Since you haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's fine.
He fucking rips his pants off, and he's wearing a fucking bald eagle Speedo, and finishes singing the song. He's like, "This is for you guys accepting me here in America," all this, and does that. It showed like DJ Moore signing his contract extension, a little bit how that went down, which middle of a practice they just like randomly like call him up to the front office and he goes and signs and goes back to practice. Like it wasn't anything crazy with.
That's weird.
Yeah, like his agent was doing all the work for it. Yeah, that's what he paid an agent to do, I guess. But yeah, it was good. Yeah. So how it works is with that whole like the guaranteed money was his first 2 seasons was his guaranteed money pretty much, and then he had 2 more seasons left. So then they re-signed him, and then he gets more guaranteed money. So that's how all 10 of his seasons has been fully guaranteed. He's never actually gotten to the point where he's hit like a non-guaranteed portion of his contract, I guess.
Good for him.
Jarrett Stidham listed as QB1 for the Broncos with Zach Wilson 2 and Bo Nix at 3. A little interesting to me. I thought at least Zach Wilson would be QB1, but I guess not. We'll see.
Jarrett Stidham, the future Patriot all-time leading passer after Tom Brady.
Yeah, that... We'll see. I mean, Stidham has had a couple good games that, whatever. Like, I don't know what his winning record is, but he's not bad. And
also not great.
Yeah, for what you're dealing with in Denver, he literally. I mean, all 3 quarterbacks right now are pretty much like, nah. Like, here you go. Like, you got a rookie.
I've heard that Bo Nix has struggled.
Yeah, good. I mean. It's
It's not that great of an offense either.
Yeah, well, it's you go from Oregon, one of the best big Power 5 team, where he played at. He played at Auburn too. He's got a lot of experience with better schools, and then you go to Denver Broncos, and the style of offense is probably a little bit different too. Going under the center, which he rarely ever did in Oregon. He was always.
I do like Troy Franklin though.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that he might be someone that's kind of sneaky, and then I guess they have some people like Cortland Sutton. I feel like is on the downturn of his career. He's got to be. Like he's just been passed around like a French whore. Like
yeah.
No one has like everyone's paid him. Like the Broncos, like we will not
but he
take care of you. But like
the thing is, he keeps like performing just good enough to be like, oh, you're good enough to keep around, like you're clearly
he's the perfect person in fantasy football because he's like someone that like he's the epitome of like I have to start him, but it's like I can't like am I gonna start him or am I gonna start insert some random Jalen Ward type players like Warren players like do I start him or like it's like he might score a touchdown, he might give me 15 points, but he also might give me 2. Like it's like he's like
Yeah,
But he is a good. I like him. His career didn't really.
I don't think he'll have the same outcome as what he did last year because clearly his
Oh no.
quarterback play has dropped. But you get rid of Jerry Jeudy, you bring in you just have younger receivers competing against him at this point. I think he'll be fine still. Federal judge overturns the NFL Sunday ticket lawsuit, granted judgment to the NFL. They basically said that they didn't violate any law and all this shit. So basically, fuck the consumer is what's going on there.
And big NFL, bring it down to the working man.
First time eligibles for the Hall of Fame have been released. Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Marshawn Lynch, Earl Thomas, Aqib Talib, Adam Vinatieri, Luke Kuechly, and Marshall Yanda. Any first balloters on there? I could at least name two.
Say them again.
Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Marshawn Lynch, Earl Thomas, Aqib Talib, Adam Vinatieri, and Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
Yep.
That's hard.
I think Adam Vinatieri will be a
Eli
first
would
ballot.
be hard, but I think Eli will be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, I agree.
Jared Allen should get in this year. I'm gonna be pissed if he doesn't because he's a Hall of Fame career. I'd probably say Terrell Suggs or Earl Campbell. Terrell Suggs has a really decorated career, won a couple Super Bowls, and was really a monster in the NFL. And Earl Campbell was the best safety or Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas, not Earl Campbell. Sorry, excuse me. Earl Thomas, not the motivational speaker. The DB for the Seahawks. He was dominant, and he was part of a very, very, very dominant Seahawks team once they won the Super Bowl and once they went to the second Super Bowl and lost. So
I think for sure Adam Vinatieri and Luke Kuechly are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Adam Vinatieri should be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if I would ever say that. He might be the most clutch player in all NFL history, to be honest.
He's probably going to get it, I think.
I would say him over someone like Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
Him over anyone else, but he'd have the best. Adam Vinatieri is by far the best kicker of all time, and it's not close. He's very good. He won.
That's why I'm saying he's probably going to get in first ballot.
Yeah,
I would think.
But I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever vote a kicker first ballot. If Jared Allen doesn't get in over Adam fucking Vinatieri, Jared Allen's like the fifth leader in sacks. Was one of the most dominant fucking players of his time. Tied record for the sacks.
All because he was a Viking. That's why that's what's slandering him.
He was a Viking, a Chief, a Bear, and a Panther. So.
If he was a Cowboy, he would have been a first ballot. Just should have been a Cowboy, I guess. And then lastly for news I have, NFL Top 100 was released. I know it's player voted.
So dumb.
This list was stupid. Tyreek Hill's number 1, Lamar's 2, CMC 3, Mahomes 4. In what world is Mahomes not number 1? CMC was arguably the best NFL player at all last year, so he could even be 1. Lamar's only 2 because he got the MVP, which he wasn't even top 10 in any stats that were significant.
He shouldn't have got the MVP.
Yeah.
Lamar's overrated.
Tyreek Hill, I can see being number 1, but Patty Mahomes is better. Just because Tyreek had a big receiving yard season, Patty Mahomes and CMC should have been 1 and 2.
Tyreek Hill isn't even the best receiver in NFL.
No, JJ is. And then, see, what the thing that gets me is, allegedly this is supposed to be based off of only last year, right? Aaron Rodgers was number 92. He played 4 snaps and was number 92 out of 100,
And there was a lot of DBs left off there. Jalen Johnson wasn't on there, who I believe had thank you. Yes, the thumbs up. Jalen Johnson wasn't on there.
Joe Burrow was highly ranked, even though he was injured. Yeah. But then guys like Justin Herbert.
Jadarius Ward wasn't on there, and he had a stellar year. All these DBs that had a really good year, and I get it. They don't want Rodgers to lose his streak because Rodgers is still probably 100 best, top 100 player in the league, but still.
Joe Burrow got injured and was top 50, I think, or something like that. I don't remember what his exact number. But then, Justin Herbert falls off falls down. He wasn't off, but fell down significantly because of his injury. It's like Justin Herbert's a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the league, and you're letting Joe Burrow not slip hardly any for this. Stupid, just a stupid list. I'm tired of these lists. They're so stupid.
Yeah.
But moving on, we have bad betting. Didn't work out last week because the Cubs and Cardinals game went over 8 runs. You want to know how many runs they had? They had 9. So this week we're bouncing back. We're going to do Olympics. We're going to take U.S. women's soccer wins the gold. France basketball money line over Germany tomorrow. And then U.S. women's water polo wins the gold.
I think we should take a bad betting in the off season, shoot it, and then.
I haven't been keeping record, so it doesn't count towards our record for whatever.
It's all negative. It's all negative. It's bad.
But $10 if you do a parlay. $10 we're doing you $59, about 60 as of right now. Again, could change. And then France play at like 10 a.m. tomorrow, so you only have like 2 hours to really get into the bet if you want to bet on France to win. But yeah, hopefully for the actual season, it's going to start going back because we were over 500 last year. So moving on, time for the beer test. Marcus, what beer are we taste testing today?
So, gentlemen,
And
women,
ladies, non-binaries, whatever.
whatever watches this podcast, we're okay with you. We decided to get fancy for our beer review, and we are drinking a Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Blue Moon is actually the first legal beer I ever drank. It has a place in my heart. I don't know if I can open this.
It's a twist top.
I know. It just hurts my hand.
Oh, jeez.
It's so sharp.
You
Look
work in a trade, Marcus, and your hands are soft. You know what that means? You're not working hard enough. Oh, too much of that.
Yep. No. I like me some Blue Moon.
All right. So, starting off for price.
I don't know what a 24-pack is. I bought a 6-pack. It was $10, which is kind of pricey for a 6-pack.
But it's the thing with Blue Moon though. It's not a. It's an ale. It's not like a domestic draft like a Coors Light.
Yeah.
So, to me, I feel like it's a fair price for like what it is for roughly what it is. You paid $7 for a 16-ounce mug at a sports bar. $6-7. Reasonable. That is reasonable for me. $9-10 typically for like a 32, maybe like 12. I don't remember. But based off the 6-pack, I'd say $10 for $9-10 for a Blue Moon to me is a great price. I'm gonna put it at a 4.5 because it's not. It's for an ale. It's for not the light beer, not the. Not the Bud Lights, not the Busch Lights. This is.
Oh yeah.
So for me, it's a 4.5 for price.
I'll give it a solid 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, I like my cheap beer.
So the average is 4 out of 5. Okay, the appearance. I feel like they changed the bottle a little bit recently. I don't remember.
Yeah, does yours look like mine? I feel like it doesn't look right.
I don't know. Mine looks darker than like.
Let me look at yours. Put yours more towards the left of your camera. I can't see it. Yours does look weird. Did I get like the non-alcoholic one or something?
Well, it's literally the exact same. It's just mine looks darker. Maybe it's the camera because I have bright lights on me. I don't know.
I would say the bottle's a pure 4.
Yeah, Blue Moon.
You
have the Belgian white on there. It tells you exactly what it is. It's got the moon on there, and then you got to truly drink it. You enjoy it with an orange. They even throw the orange on there.
The blue and orange oddly goes together.
And then the dark brown bottle. Like it's.
Yes.
I will also give it a 4. I think it's a good It's a good, and it has like Blue Moon brewing
It's
implemented on
solid,
it.
a solid presentation. I mean, I don't know the blue with a hint of the dark blue, the light blue with a hint of orange looks really good. Blue Moon, clean. You can read everything on the label. I'd say, yeah, solid
The
4.
cap even says Blue Moon with a moon. Established in Colorado. It's as old as I am because it was made in 1995.
Doesn't Blue Moon just smell so good, though?
Yeah, we're the aroma and taste are the next ones. So
Yeah, you gotta smell. It does. It smells. It's a nice smelling beer. Like, honestly, for most beers kind of smell not great.
when you think of beer in smells, Blue Moon deserves a 5 for me. Like it's one that
You know what they should do? I don't know if anyone's ever done that. They should make a Blue Moon candle.
there's probably ways to do it. Could probably do it.
That's what we're gonna do. That's gonna be our next episode of Two Drunk Guys in a Football Podcast, making Blue Moon candles.
Figuring out how to do that. All right, let's take a drink. The citrus flavor, you get the. It's just perfect. It's just like it's hard to beat.
I have such a love-hate relationship with Blue Moons because they're not like great, but they're not terrible. Like, it doesn't taste bad.
Oh, what were you doing for aroma? The smell. I'm giving it a 5.
Oh yeah, for Aroma 5, it's a great smelling beer. It doesn't smell bad. God, taste is gonna be so hard because I feel like Blue Moon's a very hard beer for me because I feel like you could have one and it's okay, but the more you drink, the more I'm like, like you get over it.
The biggest part for that too is it has to be cold. Like you can't let it sit out. Like a Busch Light, you let it sit out for 10 minutes, it's still tolerable to drink. Blue Moon, after you let it sit out for too long, it starts to taste a little funky. Oh Jesus!
Clear the palate. Ooh.
To me, the taste is probably a 3.5 to 4. I would give it even higher. I love the citrus blend, but I'd also love it when it has an orange. With an orange, I'd give it a 4.5. But without the orange, I'd probably settle for a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I'm gonna be fair. It's not the worst tasting beer. Does it taste better than Busch Light? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes, it does.
But I'd say a 4 or 3.5. I'd say 3.5.
Okay. And then what's the vibe of a Blue Moon?
Dinner beer.
Dinner beer. I 100% agree. When I go, it's pretty much my go-to when I go out to eat.
Fancy restaurant.
Yep. Or not even. It could be a sports bar. It could be whatever. If I'm going to eat, I order a Blue Moon.
It is. See, here's the thing. It is heavy, but it's unoffensive. Like, you could eat a steak and drink a Blue Moon, and I feel like it would go well with that.
Yeah.
Flavors with the savory.
It goes well with pretty much anything, I would say.
And you have the citrusy, it's sweeter beer. It's not. It's got that hint of orange. It's not bad.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to do the math on this. So it's 16.75 out of 20.
Out of 20.
Divided by 4. It would be 4.18.
Is that our highest beer?
4.19 out of 5. Blue Moon is officially our number 1 beer ranking.
Really?
Which it doesn't surprise me just because it tastes better. It's
a treat beer though.
Yeah.
You know what we need to do next? I know what I really want to do next.
What?
Guinness.
Guinness? Yeah, we can definitely do. Dude, I haven't drank it.
Do you like Guinness?
I haven't drank it in a very long time.
Here's the thing, Skinny. I love Irish car bombs. Like, that is by far my favorite shot.
Are we doing Irish car bombs in 2 weeks when we do our next beer review?
Let's do it on the draft. My draft, let's take Irish car bombs.
Okay, I think I can.
It should be easy to do. It's just Guinness, and then you need just like Bailey's, isn't it? I think it's just Bailey's, sure. And they're delicious and nutritious.
Delicious and nutritious. All right, moving on. So 4.19 out of 5. Blue Moon, currently our highest rated, with Busch Light 2 and Hulk Hogan Real American Beer number 3. I took the Hulk Hogan Real American Beer to the bachelor party for people to try, and people just giving me shit because I bought Hulk Hogan beer. I was like, "Fuck you guys!" I was like,
"They gave you shit about it?"
Yeah, because of all the, Hulk Hogan and Trump and all that shit. So they just like Jordan is a big WWE fan, like loved Hulk Hogan, but was like being all like with.
Did he try it?
Yeah, most of them did try it, and most of them said, "Meh," like whatever.
Wow, dude. Can we not? That's the whole point of it. Can we not put down our political agendas and just drink a beer? That's what it's all about, baby.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. Random topics.
Oh, I thought we were doing our fantasy next. Okay. I want to start. I got 3 questions for you. I've been thinking about these all week. I got my spiky hair, dude. I look like a freaking early 2000s varsity head coach. All right. I want you to build your best running back based off speed, strength, vision, hands, and agility. And it can either be, do you want to do all-time running backs or current NFL running backs?
I'll do current. Okay, read them off again current. So I can write them down.
Speed, strength,
okay,
vision, hands, and agility.
Hands, agility. Okay. Agility, give me Saquon.
Saquon, okay.
For hands, give me CMC.
Good pick.
Ooh. For strength, pound for pound, he's probably the strongest as Eckler, but because Derrick Henry's strength comes because he's also like a fucking big motherfucker. So I'm gonna go Eckler because pound for pound, he's probably like the strongest running back.
You're missing a very key running back, but go ahead.
Or fuck, Nick Chubb's up there too, though.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Nick Chubb is strong as fuck.
Okay, we'll go Nick Chubb. Speed, because it seems like it hasn't fallen off at all. We're gonna go Raheem Mostert still, because that dude's still fast as fuck.
He is fast.
And then vision, this one's kind of tough because like. Most running
haven't had a lot of running backs like that.
Yeah, like most
there hasn't been a Le'Veon Bell type running back in a long time.
Most running backs, for the most part, either are hitting their hole or they're getting swallowed up by their poor offensive line from the start. Like, there's no like, I think if I'm gonna go based off of last season, I could say DeAndre Swift, but also he was getting the biggest holes in the world to see. So, like, the vision, like, you didn't have to have great vision to see it, but, like, you were getting 9 yards of carry at some points in the game because of how good your line was. But then you get guys like Najee who run for over 1,000 yards with a terrible offensive line, and clearly you kind of need a little bit of vision to, like, make that work out. So vision, to me, I feel like you could almost put any running back in, as long as it's not like a fucking...
Except for Trent Richardson.
Yeah, like I feel like at this point, like So just give me Jahmyr Gibbs, Vision. I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
That's a great running back, Skinny. That's the best running back in the league, probably, allegedly.
I mean, like, agility, you could maybe put Bijan over Saquon, but, like, Saquon's agility for his size is fucking crazy. Bijan has great agility. Like,
yeah,
guys like Antonio, you guys have, like, Antonio Gibson, who has great agility. Speed, I know Raheem Mostert is older, but the dude still is fast as fuck, and most running backs nowadays
I was thinking Achane.
Yeah, like, Achane still felt like most running backs, for the most part, unless you're like a bigger power back, you're running relatively similar numbers. Eckler, pound for pound, I still think is the strongest running back, but Chubb's very fucking strong. And then again, Vision, I feel like as long as you're not picking a guy like Trent Richardson style RB3, you're pretty much fine for fucking Vision with anybody.
Yeah.
And then hands CMC just because of how fucking elite he is out of the backfield and rarely drops a pass.
He could play receiver in the NFL. Legitimately could.
Mine here for you. It's a this or that. Would you rather have your favorite team win a Super Bowl every 10 years in your life, for the rest of your life? So like they win now, so they could win potentially like 7, 8, Super Bowls over the next 70, 80 years for you. But you never win another fantasy championship, or your favorite team never wins a Super Bowl, but you win 20 total fantasy championships in your lifetime.
Dude, I'd rather win the fantasy championships.
You're telling me you'd rather go the rest of your life to see the Vikings never win a Super Bowl?
Here's the thing, Skinny.
You already have like 3 rings, and you're like, fuck. Oh, that.
Here's the thing. Me winning fantasy championships, that's money in my pocket. Me winning fantasy championships and me being able to brag. You know how stupid it sounds? It's people like, oh, I'm an Eagles fan. We win Super Bowls. I don't care. Did you win the Super Bowl? No, unless you're literally Jason Kelsey coming to me saying I won a Super Bowl, you're a bitch. I don't respect
So
it.
Here's my question: what's the point of liking a team then? Like, why are you a
still
fan?
like them.
Why are you a fan of a team if you're not like, if you view? I don't know. I just feel like it's weird to be a fan and not want to see your team win a Super Bowl.
I want to see my team win a Super Bowl. But what I'm saying is I'd rather win fantasy championships. 20 fantasy championships in your league? How much money is that? Let's do the math.
I wasn't just saying my league. I was just in general,
We'll say it's in your league because, that's all I do is
So
win
$400.
That's $9,000.
Yeah, but it's not like you get it every year. You're getting $400 every. You're getting
You're tell me you turned down $9,000 just to see your fantasy.
But it's not $9,000 up front. It's literally $9,000 for the rest of your life. So it's like 20.
Hey, I walk in and I see $400 on the ground. I'm still gonna pick it up.
Okay. I kind of knew what you were gonna. I knew your answer already.
Yeah,
but
you knew I was gonna say. I've said that before. This right here, I'd take this over seeing your Eagles win a Super Bowl any day.
My Eagles? Why would you want to see my Eagles win a Super Bowl? You want to see your Vikings win a Super Bowl?
Oh, dude. I'm an Eagles fan now. I just really like Justin Jefferson. I like purple and gold. My next one is, who is your ride or die in fantasy this year and why?
My ride or die? Like one player.
One player that you are the highest on in fantasy, and you think that he's a sure lock, like going to return ADP, going to be an absolute monster.
Kyle Pitts. I think I've been Kyle Pitts. I think I've been super high on him. Like pretty much every draft we've done, if he's there, I've been taking him in that. Like 3 is stretching it, 4th round. Like I've been if I see that 4th round and he's there, I've been taking him in most drafts that I've done. I just with what Kirk did with Hawkinson, it's a new offense. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be utilized and eat finally, and he'll 4th round for a tight end. I mean, that's probably tight end number. You got Kelsey, Laporta, Bowers maybe coming off before him.
I doubt Bowers.
Bowers is coming.
It'd probably be what's his face from Cardinals.
Trey McBride. Yeah, so you're looking at Kyle Pitts being roughly 4th or 5th off the board, and I think he can give you he'll give you that back. Like I just have that feeling with him this year. It's been rough. I know it's been rough for people that have had him, because I had him in your league, not last year, but I think the year before, and it was rough.
He's only 24 years old.
Yeah. So, and he's
young.
These are the years that he's got to start proving that he can do something, so he can get a fucking contract if he wants a big contract.
I'm pretty sure he's a year younger than Dalton Kincaid. And Dalton Kincaid, I mean, is
Kyle Pitts is 23. He'll be 24 in October. Yeah, he's
20. Yeah, Dalton Kincaid's 25 right now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he's done. Last year, he had 53 receptions for 667 and 3 touchdowns. If I don't see at least 70 receptions, 80 receptions for, if not fucking more. I mean, because outside of Drake London, for receivers, you're throwing to.
He should go for 1,000.
You're throwing to Ray McLeod and Darnell Mooney. I don't think that they're going to be.
And Rondale Moore. Don't forget.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, but at receiver, receiving, not from the running back, but as a receiver, I think
Kyle Pitts is your ride or die.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Kyle Pitts is my ride or die. In the 4th round, he is going to give you the value this year, finally.
Cool.
Who's your ride or die?
I haven't thought that far. You know who it is? You know who I've been big on this year? I feel like it's such a cop out, but like, I like the value of him a lot. He's either going as RB2 or RB3, and right now, running back 1st round, there's some people you can snag that are really good. I really am a big Breece Hall guy this year. I love Breece Hall.
I hate Iowa State running backs. I hate
David Montgomery. Who? That might be a sneak peek.
That's not what you said back in the day. It was Iowa State running backs.
Hey, did you catch me on the pod saying that? Did you ever catch me on the pod saying that?
I don't
know.
Then
it never happened. It never happened. If no one has a clip of me saying it, it's never happened.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not going to go back and watch all those episodes either.
But there's no way I said that last year, because I drafted Breece Hall last year, and he did very well.
And I gave you shit for drafting him too, because I was like,
and he did very well. He returned on the value. But I'm a big Breece Hall guy. I feel like the offensive line's going to get better. They did add a couple
Malachi
receivers. They got Malachi Corley. And he's going to be pretty decent. And they also got Mike Williams. I've never been a Mike Williams guy. I never was really that impressed with him. He's a big play guy, but I don't know. I just never was a Mike Williams guy.
It's the inconsistency that bothers you.
Yeah. I think that he's going to be – I think Breece Hall is going to be under a better offensive line. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to take the pressure out of the box, and I think Breece Hall is a very good pure runner, plus the fact that he's excellent out of the backfield, and I think he's going to be featured a lot. I think that he's in for – he was like, RB4 last year, top 10 at least. I feel like he's in for a huge year this year, so that's probably my...
Until Braylon Allen comes in and takes touches. No, I'm joking. All right. My, if you could change, alter, or remove one rule in football at any level or all levels, what would it be?
The rule that lost us against the Eagles. The touchback. Once you reach over the goal line and it's a touchback.
What would
and
you
you fumble over the goal line.
Would you just remove it completely, or like
Yeah,
how
to
would
make
you,
it down at the 1 yard line.
down at the 1 yard line? Yeah,
That probably the rough. Well, I guess there's a few. The rough and the passers.
Yeah, but you only can change one.
Receivers.
Only one. Only one. Only one.
Probably the unnecessary roughness plays.
Yeah,
I feel like these motherfuckers need to get hit.
I would get rid of like targeting for college,
Yeah.
because I feel like half the time, like the whole leading with the crown of your helmet and all this, it's like they're going to make a tackle and the player is falling.
I can tell you one that would save the NFL this year. I'm gonna get rid of the hip drop tackle.
Oh, yeah, that one's...
You mean the tackle that they told us in 2016, once I was in high school football, to do? That was the safest way to tackle someone. And now people are tearing their ACLs and breaking ankles. I'm like, that's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of rules that I'd like to see changed, but yeah, the targeting, unnecessary roughness, one just it's
Let's
ruined.
make football tough again.
It's ruined college football so bad recently. Like every year, I just see some of the biggest, stupidest targeting calls, and I'm like, it wasn't even fucking targeting. This is so stupid. You're just bailing teams out.
Man, you need to play NCAA.
No. Not getting a new system, so unless it comes on
so
PC,
good though, Skinny.
Unless it's on
so
PC,
good.
I can't play it. I'm sorry.
Skinny, it's so good. You know how much I don't care about college football too, but I love
college
football.
Not buying a new system. I'm not buying a new system unless it's on PC. I gotta wait. So
it's terrible. My last one is: Would you rather have no hands or no feet, and why?
I think I'd go. Oh, fuck. I think I'd go with no feet.
Skinny's like, fuck, all wheel around in a wheelchair.
I did it before with my ankles. No, no hands would suck because you couldn't feed yourself. You couldn't Are we talking like we can't get a bionicle anything to replace it? Like I couldn't have bionicle hands eventually. Just
you could get bionicle hands. You could get whatever technology they have right now.
Fuck. Okay, yeah, I'd go without my feet because I can get those like bendy legs, you know, and or I could get other replacements that I can still walk. But with my hands, I got to keep my hands. You get to feel things and grab things like boobies. I'd never be able to touch a boobie anymore and feel the boobie. Come on.
You could do this.
Oh, oh yeah, that's what I really want to do. Nah, just the good old fashioned booby grade. Yeah, I
double cup.
Yeah, couldn't lose that. Couldn't lose that. So I can go and replace my legs with prosthetics and still go walk or whatever, or get the bendy ones to if I really wanted to try to run.
Yeah, the bendy arm. Yeah.
But I am keeping my hands. My hands are useful in many ways. So especially grabbing the boobies. So I'm keeping my hands.
His booby hands are important to him.
Yes. Well, when you got a wife like mine, you gotta have hands.
There you go.
I love you, babe. I don't know. I don't think she watches, so whatever.
Terrible, Courtney.
If she does watch, she's not gonna get this far. My last one is because it's an election year. If you were to run for president, what would be your top priority, and who would you pick as your VP?
It's a good question. Do you really want me to get into this on Two Drunk Guys in the Football Podcast?
Hey, you.
I'm gonna offend our 11 viewers. It's not gonna be good. Well. I'd go crazy with my vice president. Like there's two rhythms I could go. I could go like way crazy far, and be like, it could be what's his face? Now I'm drawing a blank. The Kentucky governor, Rand Paul.
Oh,
it could be like a Rand Paul, or we could be crazy and we could be like, the globalist, and we could go with like Alex Jones. So let's be crazy. Let's go crazy. Let's say Alex Jones would be my guy. Me and Alex Jones, Vice President Alex Jones, saving everyone. You'd be like interdimensional space being child molesters, and we'd be like, we'd be fucking getting them down. If I was president, I think the policies I would do would it'd be America first. That's what the platform I'd run on.
Okay.
America
Well, I see what you're doing here.
yeah. And all my policies would be taking care of Americans before anyone else, because that's what matters. I am half Palestinian, or a quarter Palestinian, quarter Egyptian. Fuck them. I'll say it on record. Fuck them. I'd rather take care of the people in America, and fuck the other side too. So whatever. We're not playing favorites here. America first. We go total 1909 or 1901, like isolationist, like Teddy Roosevelt shit. Like, we won't fucking talk to anyone. Everyone stay the fuck away from us.
Dude, you could run. Let's see here, 27. So 2024, 2028. You could run 2032, dude. You'd be 35. You'd be the right age. Hit up Alex Jones.
Would you vote for me, Skinny?
Of course I would vote for you. As ridiculous as it fucking would be.
Dude, there's too many videos that could bring me down on the election, but all you have to do is deny.
Yeah.
Never apologize. I would never apologize for anything I did.
You announce you're running for president, in the first 10 minutes they'd find every bad thing you've ever done or said on the internet real fucking fast.
I know. I just gotta hide all the old YouTube Gage Welch videos that we used to do.
Yeah. When he was 16, he said the N-word. It's like, oh god.
I never ever would say that.
Alex Jones. Have you watched the new Joe Rogan stand up yet? On Netflix?
No, but I've seen some clips of it.
He brings up Alex Jones, and it's fucking hilarious. It's so funny.
Dude, he loves Alex Jones.
I know, but it's just the jokes that he was making about it. Just it's a good one.
Did you? What was I gonna tell you? Oh, have you watched The Boys? I know this is random, but
yeah,
you have. So I watched it. We're just starting season 3. We just got done with season 2. That show, like, I liked it, but that's so stupid. The fact that they had Nazi superheroes, like, are we joking ourselves right now? Out of everything you could do.
Dude, it gets better. Just wait, it gets better.
Season 3's good?
Season 3's good. It's a good show, but, like, just like some of the ridiculous shit, it gets better. Season 4 especially, like, you're gonna be like, fuck. Well, then they have another one called Gen V, which is like, like not a knockoff, but like another thing to that. So I gotta watch that show still.
That's in like high school, isn't it? Like kids in high school. Yeah,
something I don't fucking know. But no, Marcus, Mary, Alex Jones, 2035 or 2032.
I'd run on the platform.
2032.
$1 fucking. I can't say that. Never mind.
Oh Jesus!
Never mind. I can't say that on the pod.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on before Marcus says the wrong thing and ruins his presidential candidacy. We're gonna do 5 fantasy players each to avoid, and explain kind of like why we're feeling that. It may be because we think we're going to be a bust. It may be based off their draft position that they're going, which I guess ultimately would be a bust at that point too, if they're not with the draft position. I'll go first. My first one is De'Von Achane. Last year he had staying on the field inconsistencies, so that's a big one right there. You need a guy that's going to at least play, maybe not all 17, but at least 16 or damn near it. I think he played in all but like 3 or 4, which I feel like if you're going to draft him as your number 1 running back,
second round,
yeah, you need more than that. They also just drafted Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. You still have Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. Deep backfield. They split backfields still. That I don't feel like anything's changing with that. He finished his RB5 last season, but when you look at his stats, his big games were in blowouts. So they're not going to have... I haven't really looked at their schedule or dived into it yet. I'll be doing that here in the next couple of weeks because we'll cover that on the podcast. But I feel like most of their games are not going to be blowouts like some of those were last year. They're going to have a lot tighter games. They're going to utilize that backfield. You don't get a guy like Jalen Wright, who I know he was a later round pick, but he was a very good running back.
Very fast, too.
Yeah, you're not going to not use him. Raheem Mostert's still good. You're not going to use him. Really, for me, Devon Achane is more of a out-of-the-backfield receiver for him at this point. And he's going to see some production values decrease. I just don't know how much. For potentially being your running RB1, not worth.
And he was crazy efficient with the touches he had last year. He scored over a fantasy point per each rush he had, each attempt he had.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic. That's not anywhere close. I mean, if you have a running back that's scoring, let's say they're running 5 yards per carry, and they get, that's 2 yards per 2 touches per 1 point. You know what I mean? And obviously it'll be a little bit skewed because sometimes they run less, but whatever. But like, he did too much, and the amount of carries he had. I mean, the lowest amount of carries he had was 6 carries last year. The rest of them were like 7, 8. Like, he did not have over 15 carries. There is no way splitting the backfield with what he does. He will be the receiving back, which is upside, but where he's getting drafted at is the absolute ceiling of what his potential is, especially in that if there's an injury, maybe he could return value. I don't think he's big enough, and I don't think that he has enough workload to do that, because what is fantasy? You're looking for opportunity plus talent. He has talent. I don't know if he has enough opportunity to be taken where he is with the ADP.
Exactly. Yeah.
My first one is Rachaad White. He feasted off volume last year. He had 272 touches or rushing yards for 990 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. Not good. That's below league average. In the passing game, he was kind of considered a poor man CMC last year. I believe he ended the year with RB4 in most leagues, scoring standard PPR format is what typically everyone's doing last year. He was so efficient in the receiving game. He got 64 of 70 targets. That's 90% success rate with targets. Yeah. That's insane. That doesn't happen. I think that this team is better than they were last year. Plus the fact I think that he has competition. They drafted a legitimate receiving running back in Bucky Irvins out of Oregon, who was very good in Oregon at receiving the ball. And I think that he is better than Rachaad White at that. Plus the fact of he's going to take carries. Last year they had no one. Like would they have Keyshawn Vaughn?
Yeah.
He was never a threat. They didn't have anyone else that was doing anything. He's getting drafted right now as a RB1, RB2. He's getting drafted around RB12 to 15, so borderline 1, high end 2. And he's going 34 overall of all positions. I just don't think that he will return value. He'd have to be extremely efficient. Plus, Bucky Irvin does scare me. I think that he's a legitimate threat, and they drafted him 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, he's Bucky. Being an Oregon fan, I watched a lot of Bucky Irving. He's literally just a smaller Rachaad White. He does everything that Rachaad White can do, very just a little bit smaller, and that's gonna take to his advantage. And like you said, he is a better receiving back in fantasy. That's gonna take. Yeah, sure. Rachaad White ran for 70 yards, 7 points, had 1 catch. There's 8 for 12 yards. There's 9. But Bucky Irving came in and had 3 catches for 35 yards. There's 6 points right there that he just took away. So,
yep.
yeah, I'm not too worried about the goal line for touchdowns, but it's more of that, third down, long distance stuff where.
And he only had rushing touchdowns. He only had 3.
Yeah,
I think he had 12 total touchdowns. I do think he had 9 receiving touchdowns, which is probably going to go down. That's a lot for a running back.
Yeah, and he was used some high insane amount. It was 90% of the snaps or something like that were in the red zone.
By far the most out of any other player in the NFL.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to change with drafting Bucky Irving. I know he's a little bit smaller, but he gives me James White vibes, where he's going to be that role perfectly. Maybe like a Darren Sproles too, I guess. That type of receiving back. They can still run the ball successfully, but they're going to be big for you out of the backfield for receiving. My next one is Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson, so this one was hard for me. I know this is kind of a stretch just because he's not getting drafted early. It's a very late pick, so it's probably a backup for most people. But when you do have to play him, if somebody gets injured or anything, it's just tough for me, especially later in the season, because Justin Fields is on that team. And Justin Fields is a top 5, top 10 fantasy quarterback when playing. Even if it's not pretty, even if they're not winning games, Justin Fields has been able to get things done.
I think he's winning the quarterback battle right now, it sounds like.
Russ was a top 15 quarterback in fantasy last year, which I'm glad that he was. And I said he would bounce back after the bad season with the Broncos. But they're only paying him $1.2 million. He's getting his contract from the Broncos pretty much. So the Steelers can look at this of 2 ways. Justin Fields is on the last year of his contract and has to be worth an extension or a new contract, right? They need Russ isn't young. They need a quarterback for the future. They traded away Kenny Pickett. Are you going to play Justin Fields even half the time, or let him take over the starting role completely to show that he's worth paying him an extension of some sort, or re-signing him in the offseason if no other team wants him? And 2, with paying Russ $1.2 million, that's pocket change for them at this point. They could be game 3, Russ, let's say game 6, they're 2-4. Well, let's try Justin Fields out and see how it goes. Maybe they don't win, but the offensive production is better. I just feel like with Russ not getting paid a whole lot of money from them, the Steelers have so much on their plate to be like, well, we're paying you $1 million, go ride the bench, and let's got the guy that's actually making way more money than you currently that we're paying. We need to give him a shot. He's younger and see see if he's our quarterback of the future. Which you don't trade for a quarterback typically in that situation for a first round quarterback and not be like, we think this might be our quarterback for the future. So if Russ is the starter going into week 10 to 12, I would be shocked.
I think Justin Fields is going to get a shot. And I think Justin Fields, I like him better in this offense. Russell Wilson at this point in his career, he's old. He's washed a little bit. Let's be honest. He's not the same Russell Wilson he was in Seattle, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he had a decorated career. He won a Super Bowl. Never won an MVP, but he probably is going to be a Hall of Famer, I'd imagine, with what he's done.
Yeah,
he's a pretty decent player. I just don't think Russ is the best quarterback in that team right now. Seems like Justin Fields, from all reports I've heard, he is carving up that defense. He's hungry. He's pissed off at the Bears, drafted another quarterback, and actually built a team around them. And considering they didn't do anything with him, so
yeah, pretty much.
Excuse me. My second bust in fantasy football is Deebo Samuel. Scored 63 points in week 13 and 14 alone. That's 30% of all the points he scored last year. He's on an offense with a lot of competition. This is also pending if Brandon Ayuk leaves.
Yeah.
Even if he does, I'm not a big Deebo guy. He's a very big boom or bust guy. He's someone that needs a lot of volume in the rushing game too to really be fantasy effective. He's right now he's not even the number one target on his team. He's injury prone. He's going 27th overall or wide receiver 16, which makes him a wide receiver 2, a high end wide receiver 2. He didn't put up he put up single digit fantasy points 6 times last year. I really like the wide receiver that they drafted, Ricky Pearsall.
Yep.
I think that he is going to really fit in, and Brandon Ayuk is a first round pedigree. Sounds like he might be out the door. Possibly not. They might have to keep him. He's not going to sit out. Them selling their souls to smoke a little pot. None of those NFL players are going to ever sit out. You're not going to see that unless they're really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But because the money talks. I mean, would you sit out if you're going to make you may get a little banged up and sit out a game, but you're not going to sit out, miss those game checks and get fined because you want a bigger contract. It doesn't make sense. You want the money, you're going to take the money you can have. But I just don't think Deebo Samuel has that much upside to be an R or wide receiver 1 or 2 on most teams. I just don't feel like he is. I like what they're doing, but CMC is going to get his. They love George Kittle. They're going to feed those two for sure. They want to run the ball. They want to be very intentional on when they pass the ball with Brock Purdy. I think Deebo Samuel is a okay receiver, but I don't think that he is, wide receiver 16 that puts him in the 3rd round. That's gross to me. I don't want Deebo Samuel in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I
don't like that value at all.
If they didn't have CMC and were playing him like they did, what was it, 3 years ago?
It's been 3 years. Yeah,
since right before CMC, and we're utilizing him in the run game a lot more than they probably should have. I know his contract has shit with it, so they're kind of avoiding some of that shit with his contract incentives. But if they were utilizing him as a runner like they did 3 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, Deebo 3rd round, sure, whatever. But very limited. Again, they want to run the ball first. They want to put it in CMC hands as much as they can possibly. I know they said they're going to limit his role a little bit, but that might be, we're going to have him take off 1 or 2 plays in a drive that he.
And we're going to use Elijah Mitchell, who we like.
Yeah, use him either, or when CMC isn't touching the ball, Deebo might not be getting it. Brock Purdy. They don't want Brock Purdy throwing the ball 30 yards downfield. And maybe even 15 yards downfield.
And Deebo can't bring that though.
Yeah.
Deebo is not a deep threat guy. He's someone that has to get it off the yak. And you take away Brandon Ayuk, who is more of a deep threat guy who can spread the field around. It condenses the field.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to play closer. Deebo is fast, but I don't think Deebo is someone that's going to win out a bunch of go balls. Plus the fact he can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
he has not stayed healthy. Even last year, he was not healthy for a lot of the years. 60 points in 2 games is crazy.
Yeah,
30% of your fantasy points, you take away that, you're getting, say you're getting 20% less of fantasy points because you don't have 2 big spike games. It's not good.
Well, and you're six times. That's
6 times single digit.
Yeah, third of the season, you're not scoring over 10 points, which is huge.
And not all fantasy football is like. There are a lot of players that you were having that you need in different sections of the season. Maybe for a 3-week period. Maybe, for instance, we'll just use, let's say Bijan Robinson gets hurt, and you're using Tyler Algier, and Bijan Robinson gets hurt for a month. Tyler Algier would be probably a top 12 back in those first 4 weeks, you know what I mean? Yeah. But after that, he's not useful. That's why you get those people. I just don't think that Deebo Samuel, who, wide receiver is not like running back. If someone gets hurt, it's not always a 1A, 1B thing. Like Juwan Jennings to Deebo Samuel, that's a big difference. Juwan Jennings is a legit player, should have possibly been the Super Bowl MVP if they would have won, but I don't think Deebo is someone that I will be drafting this year for sure.
Yeah, I don't touch Deebo anyway.
I never do.
My next guy is Drake London. I'm going to go wide receiver out here. He's going in the second round. I get
too high.
I get you're bringing in Kirk Cousins. I get Kirk Cousins loves to throw the ball. I get Kirk Cousins can throw for 4,000 yards. I get that. But here's my thing. He's coming in at wide receiver 14, being drafted about the second round. In some mocks, he's going ahead of guys like Devontae Adams. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? In the red zone, he hasn't had more than 4 touchdowns in a season. You know who's going to be a better option in the red zone? Kyle Pitts. You know who's going to be a better red zone option? Bijan Robinson. Especially with Arthur Smith gone now. His red zone targets are not going to be... I know Drake London's a bigger receiver too, but I'm going to throw it up to Kyle Pitts being guarded by a linebacker than Drake London. You know, like, it just doesn't make sense. And, yeah, Kirk's going to be his quarterback. They're going to throw the ball a lot. We don't know what Kirk's going to be like coming back with an Achilles. You know who's going to be a more consistent target for short game, quick game? Kyle Pitts. He's inside. He's going to be closer.
He's like Kirk will be good for Kyle Pitts. But
what I'm saying is, like,
he's getting drafted at his probably ceiling. I don't see him being a top 3 guy. I don't see him being a top 5 guy. If he gets top 10, that's his ceiling. I think that Kirk will throw to him. I like Drake London. I really do. I think that he is a good player. He's had such a big target share, and he hasn't had a quarterback to Kirk's caliber yet.
I just think that with Kirk coming to a new offense, being comfortable, the comfortable is taking a tight end on a 5 to 10 yard route than a guy running the 15-plus yard route, which Drake London will be doing more often type thing. Like, we'll be running Kyle Pitts on curls, drags, shit like that, where it's the comfortable route to throw him the ball. And again, I mean, the Falcons line...
Kirk does love tight ends, too.
The Falcons line isn't anything special either, Like, it's...
Yeah.
I would say a downgrade coming... I know the Vikings were banged up a little bit, but I would say it's a downgrade. Getting rushed.
Thank you.
Getting rushed. You have to get the ball out quicker. You're going to go to your comfort spots, and I think Kyle Pitts is more of a comfortable spot for him. Because the thing with Kyle Pitts, too, is he's not just going to line up as tight end. He's going to line up as your slot receiver. He's going to line up, he's going to be moving around the field. Yeah. I just feel like if Kyle Pitts is not the Travis Kelce is their number 1 receiver, I would be shocked.
Seems like it's skinny. If Kyle Pitts has less than 900 yards next year, I'm just going to look back at this, crop this. I'm gonna make a note in my phone to come back to this episode. I'm just gonna shit on you,
dude. Okay, Mr. Kadarius Toney, fuck you. All right, I don't give a shit about that. Yeah, exactly. I will be disappointed if Kyle Pitts doesn't have over at least 9 fucking hundred yards.
I can't help that Kadarius Toney sucks.
We don't know. Kyle Pitts could suck too. Go on. Just
he's there. My next one is Mark Andrews. Shocking. I did a little digging into this one. I watched a little things, did a little things. Mark Andrews only one time in 6 years has gone over 855 yards. Receiving yards. Only one time in 6 years has gone over 75 catches in a season. And only one time in his career has had double-digit touchdown receptions. He gets overdrafted based on name value. He's someone that you just think about. I think of Mark Andrews. Ooh, I'm gonna have a solid tight end. He's been injured a lot. Mm-hmm. He has some competition with Isaiah Likely. He's drafted at the top 3 to 4 ADP over guys that have so much more potential. Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle. George Kittle was a leading receiver leading tight end in receiving yards last year. how, and maybe touchdowns too. I'm not sure, but he had some touchdowns. I don't know who it would have been.
Oh, Sam Laporta was touchdowns.
I'm
pretty sure.
Well, okay, Sam Laporta touchdowns. I know that Kittle was receiving yards. How are you going to take him over someone like that? He's getting older. He's around the same age as Kittle. Kittle's on a way in offense that I think this is going to be very unpopular, what I'm going to say. But I think Brock Purdy is better at throwing the ball to receivers than Lamar Jackson is. Sorry, not sorry.
I could drink to that.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, I think, is a little overrated, to be honest. He shouldn't have been the MVP. He had Justin Fields numbers, and no one wants to talk about that conversation. But,
yeah,
that's the NFL we live in.
Hey, we talked about it last year.
We did talk about it last year, but no one wants to talk about it that much. But I feel like tight end 4, what you could get. I'm a big Dalton Kincaid person. Like, I feel like Dalton Kincaid is going to be like the leading receiver on the Bills. Like, would they have the Khalid Shakir or whatever his name is? Okay, they have Curtis Samuel. Okay, they got Keon Coleman.
Okay,
he's talented, but I don't.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie. You don't know what you're going to get out of him.
Like, I would totally take Dalton Kincaid over him. I would totally take George Kittle over him. And Kyle Pitts has so much potential. 24 years old. 24 years old. He's literally, maturity-wise, probably really getting the game now. That's so young. I just feel like Mark Andrews is being overdrafted. He's someone that I'm totally going to avoid because I don't even know if he's the number 1 on that team anymore. They're going to run the ball more. They haven't had a running back like King Henry in their, since Lamar's.
Yeah. And
Zay
Flowers showed that he could be a receiver. Isaiah Likely showed that he can step up and play tight end. Like, I expect those two to I feel like
Isaiah Likely is like 24, 25 years old. He's legitimately good.
Yeah.
Like, he is.
If you're going to target a Ravens tight end this year, it's Isaiah Likely. I would definitely target him over.
Well, considering that Mark Andrews is always hurt and injury prone, probably. Like, Isaiah Likely, I feel like, could overtake Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, obviously last year he had someone tackled him from behind, and he had the hip drop tackle and it broke his ankle or whatever. But I just am not a big Mark Andrews guy. I've used him in fantasy before. I picked him up off of waiver wires because Mark wouldn't trade him for anything, and then he dropped him because your dad's mine in fantasy. He won a ring, so I got to respect. I won before, so I'm better. But he still won one, so it is what it is.
Oh, that's how it goes.
But yeah, it's who wins it before, or volume of how many you win. But that's what you got to go off of. I'm obviously not better than your wife because she's won 2, and
no one's better than my wife at this point, I guess. So
if I win two, I feel like since my success of my record and plus the fact that I've been to
she went back to back. Nope, she went back to back. Back to back's more impressive. Back to back and beating and it was against. That's like the whole Tom Brady Patrick Mahomes thing. She beat you twice. I don't give a shit anything about your record or anything like that.
I'm going to win a lot. I'm going to win a lot.
Oh, yeah. So the Vikings are never going to win. But, yeah, no, No. My next one is Javonte Williams, running back for the Denver Broncos. Right now, he's RB28, which I know is like later rounds, but I still don't want to touch that in later rounds.
Puts him at an RB3, high-end RB3.
Yeah. He is coming into the season with a bad offensive line still. Young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, not good quarterbacks, so you can stack the box a lot easier. And here's their backfield. You got older Samaje Perine, but you have fast as fuck Jaleel McLaughlin, and they just drafted Audric Estime, who is a big motherfucker. Ever since his injury, he hasn't been the same. His rush success percentage has dropped, largely again with his injury, and 2, his offensive line's ass, and his yards per game has dropped by like 10 to 15 yards. It's not good. I RB3, you want, all right, you draft, let's say you draft CMC and you draft Najee Harris later, right? And you got to go bye week and go put in Javonte Williams. You're better off just not playing anybody. I think he's going to lose touches as the year goes on. Even if he starts off, he's going to clearly be RB1, but he's going to lose touches as he goes on. Audric Estime is, to me, going to take away red zone touches, and I think he potentially could come in and take the RB2 spot. Like, he was good at Notre Dame, and he's a bigger guy. Hard to bring down, runs hard, very good. And then Jaleel McLaughlin, when Javonte Williams has been hurt, has played very well. He's a speedster. Like,
yeah.
If he never got injured, sure, I think he'd still be fine.
He's so young, though.
Yeah,
he's so young. What's he, 24 now?
I just think that with the amount of the young quarterbacks around him, your bad offensive line, and having 4 guys that can get the job done, basically the job done the same, if not maybe better in certain scenarios.
Yeah,
you're not going to get 250 plus touches and be that guy and play most of a drive and think like they're going to interchange, and I just don't see him being worth the value at that point, especially if they're going to do a running back by committee where at least 3 running backs are playing every game, and he's just going to lose a lot of touches. I just don't see him being a good RB3 for you at that point.
It's a prove-it year for Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
He's not much more of a rookie.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
My number 4 guy is Tony Pollard. Was disappointing last year. He was highly touted. He was a top 10 pick. I mean, first round running back. This year he's going as RB26, which is a low end RB2, a downgrade in offensive line and quarterback, maybe better wide receivers. You know, if you think what's
Hopkins
his face?
And Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
As a duo, I'd probably say are better than what Brandon Cooks and
plus
CD
Tyler
give
Boyd.
you.
They're better.
Yeah.
I would say. He only scored 6 touchdowns behind the best offensive line in football, or one of the top 5 best offensive lines, with no competition. Now he has Tajay Spears, who is going 20 picks lower than him.
And
20 picks lower than
Titans
him.
love him.
They do love him. He's 23 years old, 4 years younger than Tony Pollard, which in running back years is a decade, because it's a lot of work on him. I'm not so sure he's the RB1 going into the season either. Spears is younger than Tony Pollard. Plus the fact of Will Levis legitimately can run. He's my deep sleeper this year. I feel like he could really do, he's got a good offense around him, honestly. Weapons and wide receivers and running backs that can do it. I really love the player. I feel like Will Levis is going to show that he can run the ball a little bit and run it at the goal line and stuff like that. So I just feel like there's not a lot of touchdown offside. I feel like this is a team that I just don't want to touch once it comes to at least the running backs. Maybe the receivers have some values. Will Levis, he could throw pretty decent. I don't know. I just don't know what this running back's going to look like. And if you told me Tony Pollard's the number 1 guy, maybe. But I could also see Tajay Spears taking it. They're very similar skill sets, so it's hard to estimate what the roles are going to be.
Well, and after last year showing that he couldn't be the RB1 worries you.
No, within the best possible position. Zeke looked better last year than he did. He rushed for more yards, but Zeke was a backup running back. But when Zeke played,
your competition was Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn. And you just couldn't. It was just weird. He's a running back that has to have a 1-2 punch to look good, and I just don't think he's not the star. With it.
Does Zeke look better behind that offensive line? Does Zeke have a better fantasy season this year than Pollard had last year?
100%. I 100% believe that video that's circulating to Zeke, like after going through the fucking one machine and coming out like bending over and shit, he got hit in the dick, guys. He got hit in the fucking dick with the thing that what is it called, the where you like run through it to help.
Yeah.
He got hit in the dick. All right, calm the fuck down. Got hit in the dick. That to the dick, not a fun feeling. I imagine most of us that have played football have tried to run through those things and
let them sleep on Zeke. I will take Zeke and draft at his 80.
Zeke will be a top 20 to probably a top 20 running back, honestly, this year in fantasy points. I don't know what he's going at.
And he's going to probably go as, I think, I can look at his ADP right now, but I bet you he's not going very well.
I downloaded the cheat sheet earlier. Let me.
You have a cheat sheet. You can look at Fantasy Pros has it. So right now he's the 77th. Right now his draft he's going 116. So I put him in 12 team leagues.
So on this cheat sheet he's 33rd overall running back, 103.
10th round.
Yeah. At the 10th round, give me Zeke. 33rd
RB 36. So that puts him in 12 team league. He would be a bottom end, low end RB3, high end RB4.
Yeah. Give me Zeke at a RB3 any day at this point. He's
Does Zeke score more fantasy points than Tony Pollard this year, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zeke last year with the Patriots showed that he can still get it done.
He looked good.
Despite being older and being basically fucking run down. I mean, he was run down at Ohio State. The Cowboys fucking ran him down. I think with him coming back to the Cowboys will be good for him. And I definitely... He's going to take a big workload still. I mean, they still have Rico Dowdle, but not worried. They still have Deuce Vaughn, not worried. It's pretty much the same situation as last year for him, and I think Zeke's going to take the opportunity better than Pollard did. Maybe the line just got a little bit worse, I guess, but I think it'll be fine. My last guy is T. Higgins. He is wide receiver.
Oh, you only did 4?
I did 5.
How are you? Oh, did you start before me?
Yeah. T. Higgins. He's wide receiver 27. He's going ahead of guys like George Pickens, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. I'll throw Rashee Rice in there because we don't know his suspension yet, but I imagine Rashee Rice is impacted because of the suspension potentially, and then Terry McLaurin.
Might not though.
Yeah, we don't know.
Next year.
I think the Rashee Rice thing, if he doesn't get suspended, which should be coming out here pretty soon, I hope, that'll move Rashee Rice up, clearly. I do believe that. But George Pickens is probably going to be wide receiver number 1. Amari Cooper is wide receiver number 1. I know they brought in Jerry Jeudy, but I'm still not worried. Terry McLaurin, wide receiver number 1. You get Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels could throw the ball. It's not like Jaden Daniels, all he could do was run the ball. Jaden Daniels could throw the ball in college. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin has fallen off a little bit, but I think I'd almost take Chris Godwin over T. Higgins anyway.
Good start, though. I like Chris Godwin if he gets traded. Or not Chris Godwin. I like T. Higgins if he gets traded somewhere.
Well, it depends on where he gets traded to. That's the other one, too. But T. Higgins, his best fantasy season ever was 15.7 points. He's, besides 15.7... No, 15.7 fantasy points, per game. That's his best he's ever done.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Besides one season, he has never exceeded expected fantasy points per game. He's been wide receiver 3 or worse production weeks at a 60% rate. So majority of the time you're getting a wide receiver 3 out of him, but you're drafting him at wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
And then with his off-season stuff, potential trades and all that stuff, I just feel like if you're at a position where T. Higgins, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Rashee Rice, and Terry McLaurin are available, I'm taking at least 4 to 5, if not all of those guys before T. Higgins, because he's too up and down. He's starting to become the Mike Williams of the Chargers, where you have your clear-cut number one, Jamar Chase and Keenan Allen. Your number two, that's supposed to be this high-level guy, is
not getting enough
60% of the time is giving you single digits or not meeting expectations. Which, give me George Pickens, who I think will be good, who is going to probably be the clear-cut number one. Give me Amari Cooper, who just came off a great season with the Browns, and you're going to be fine. Deshaun Watson has looked better, I think, in training camp this year. I think that'll be good for him. Rashee Rice, again, even with a suspension, I think could still be better than T. Higgins.
Hey, I'm a big guy on Rashee Rice. I did draft him this year. Pray to Allah that Rashee Rice doesn't have a suspension until next year, because next year's a whole year away, so I don't care.
And then Terry McLaurin gets so goddamn disrespected, and it's fucking annoying.
He's so hard, though. Have you ever had him in
I've had him multiple years.
Here's the thing, though. I love Terry McLaurin, the player, but there is not anything more underwhelming than having Terry McLaurin and thinking you have a number one wide receiver and he's like an RB3 half the time, or not an RB3, a wide receiver 3 half the time. Like he's so fucking hard to have on your team. He annoys me because he's so like boom or bust too.
Yeah,
and I think his booms aren't crazy.
I think with Jaden,
I'm not a big Terry McLaurin.
I think with Jaden Daniels things change, because Jaden Daniels,
he's legit.
I think is better than Sam Howell from the start.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe. I like Sam Howell kind of.
Just because he's the white Jameis Winston and he'll fucking sling the ball and not give a shit about his turnovers. And
is it bad that I kind of like? I've debated over whether I think Sam Howell is better quarterback than Geno Smith.
I wouldn't be sure. Okay, Marcus, you do all your grading typically based off of fantasy, so yes, I can definitely see it because I just said, dude. You probably view Sam Howell as the white Jameis Winston, a guy that's going to sling the fucking ball. He can throw 4 picks, but he's still going to throw touchdowns.
Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is the best fantasy quarterback of all time. Let him start anywhere he goes. I love Jameis Winston. How could you not, dude? The dude throws for 1,000,000 yards.
Yeah, and see, that's the next thing. He's on the Browns. If Deshaun Watson gets hurt again or you literally get Jameis Winston in as your quarterback.
I'm saying it on this podcast. Deshaun Watson's a piece of shit. Let him get hurt. Let him do. Allegedly, he did a lot of bad stuff. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't care though. Jameis Winston is my favorite. He's way better than Marcus Mariota. I've always been a Jameis Winston fan. Just because he stole crab legs doesn't mean he's a bad person. He knows what he was doing. He was
trying to feed his family. Trying to feed his family.
Damn right. And he's funny. He's really funny. So I like Jameis Winston.
I want him to become a sports commentator after.
Dude, please. My last and final guy is David Montgomery. I have to hate on Iowa State.
Of course you do, because you're like, I praise Brees, but I'm gonna fuck on David Montgomery.
No, listen.
I
got the stats. He's getting drafted 66 overall, which is the 20th running back, which puts him in a 12-team PPR. That puts him at a RB2, which I think is his ceiling. Which puts him at RB2/RB3. More RB2. Last year receiving line, 16 receptions for 117 yards. That's fucking ass. He was 4th in touchdowns. He had 13 touchdowns. 38 in snap played by a running back. Not good. 22 in touches. So he's not... Him being drafted as the 20th running back, he's already not getting that volume. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to year 2. Jahmyr Gibbs' second half of the season, he was fire. He looked really good. He's had one season better than RB15, and that's in 2020. So David Montgomery's been in the league since 2019, so he has 1 year better than RB15. And he had 0-16 fantasy games after, or 0-16 plus fantasy games after week 11. He's an insurance policy at the maximum for Jahmyr Gibbs. And he's getting drafted as someone that people are going to put in their flex. People are going to have RB2. Because why? I don't know. Because they don't watch football. Jahmyr Gibbs is the number one running back on this team. He's receiving back. Let me tell you, a rush versus the reception, two different things. Why do you think receivers are getting drafted so high in fantasy right now? 10 years ago, 10 years ago, we would never talk about a wide receiver going number one overall. The fact that Justin Jefferson went number one overall last year, they say CMC, but there's a lot of CD talk about CD going number one overall.
CD, Tyreek.
You know,
I don't make a case for St. Brown even, I think.
St. Brown. I don't like David Montgomery because I'm so high on Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think David Montgomery is a goal line back, yes. But then again, Jahmyr Gibbs still rushed for, 10 touchdowns last year?
Yeah.
Like, Jahmyr Gibbs had...
To me, they're going to be... Ideally, they could be the Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara duo. Let David Montgomery, which he did last year for the most part, which at times I was like, why are you not putting Jahmyr Gibbs in? But let David Montgomery do the ground and pound up the middle. You know, he still has some outside speed and fine. His make the first man miss, break tackles is still pretty good. He was doing that in college.
Yeah.
But like Jahmyr Gibbs, like the whole thing with him and St. Brown, I don't know if you saw, but 1,000 receiving yards, 1,000 rushing yards. That's something I could realistically see from Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh yeah, he's good.
And to do that,
what's funny is everyone shit on the Lions for drafting him. It doesn't look so bad anymore. I mean, legitimately, he had a year that was for sharing a backfield like he did, and the offense that he's on. I would say that I would rather have drafted him over Bijan Robinson last year.
Yeah, but
he had 10 touchdowns.
But imagine if Bijan didn't get fucking fucked like he was. That's my big thing.
I know, but who's better? David Montgomery or Tyler Algier?
You don't want me to answer that question.
You're going to say David Montgomery, huh?
Yeah.
And I agree. Yeah.
But it's not about who's better. It's about how they were utilized. Arthur Smith was putting fucking Tyler Algier in on the fucking 8-yard line in the red zone and playing him 3 goddamn plays in a row.
How much it hurt me, Skinny? You know how much it hurt me?
Dan Campbell was at least taking David Montgomery out once if they were on the 8-yard line. All right, let's go put in Jahmyr Gibbs for a play or two. Oh, it got to the 1 or 2 yard line. Now we'll put in David Montgomery. You also have to think about David Montgomery had 13 rushing touchdowns. Take away, let's say 8. 8's like a good number, I think, when it comes to like your RB2 or a wide receiver. 8 touchdowns is good.
Yeah.
You take away 5 at 6. That's 30 fantasy points that he loses. That's 2 points a week. And when it comes to fantasy, 2 points can be a huge difference maker between
win or loss.
What was he, 20 or some shit or whatever the fuck he was last year? He could have been almost 40th, off of those 2 points or worse. So, I definitely don't see 13 touchdowns from him again. That's going to decrease. I think they're going to try to get Jameson Williams involved a little bit more in the passing game. Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game more. If Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't have over 320 total touches between receiving and rushing, I would be shocked this year. I just think David Montgomery...
320? Yeah, I guess it's fair.
Yeah. Between rushing and receiving, he should be seeing a high volume. David Montgomery, at this point, should be probably working the LeGarrette Blount role that LeGarrette Blount did for the last, 3 years of his career, where he'd just kind of come in and just be the bullet.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed in our dynasty that I didn't get Jahmyr Gibbs because I wanted to start Jahmyr Gibbs and Breece Hall so bad.
Dude, in our auction draft, just throw him up right away. Put all your money on him,
No, our auction draft. I'm throwing up like
I already
players
I already have my scheme for that. 100% already have my scheme.
it'll be fun. I like our auction drafts because it is interesting. I was just talking to Rob Hall, who's in our draft, who last year, and he's like, I was having fun with the draft, but he's like, I was so goddamn drunk towards the end of it. It was 3 hours. It's Labor Day weekend. I was like, Rob, that's drafting weekend. Brooke's family wants us to go to Minnesota that weekend. I was like, Brooke, we can't.
Just let
We
Brooke
literally
go.
can't.
Let Brooke go.
I was like, no. Well, why? So I can draft for her and then people complain about it? No.
Oh yeah, I guess she wouldn't be back. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And I'm getting Brooke trained up. I'm having her listen to some podcast. I'm like, Brooke, you got to listen to this podcast so you can learn. And I'll make her a cheat sheet.
I gotta get her back in the football a little bit. We've been watching, like, she watched some of the Hard Knocks with me and stuff like that for the Giants, and I gotta get her back into the football mentality. But
yeah, well, since you haven't been drafting with her, it hasn't been great.
I mean, our team wasn't bad. The other thing too is her keepers. I mean, we did the keeper league, so her two keepers last year both got hurt and kind of fucked her.
I mean, she kept them almost 3 years. I mean, having Justin Jefferson and what's his nuts really
Cooper
saved
Kupp.
her. I feel like this will show how good Courtney is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a redraft. It'll show how good anybody is until injuries come into play. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Is injuries always fuck you.
Hey,
before
I have
injuries,
I have a proven track record.
if you would have lost Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson in the same season from a keeper league, you wouldn't have done well at all. 100%.
Guarantee.
No.
I would find someone.
Shut the fuck up. All
Guarantee.
right.
I would trade.
All right.
Crazy trade.
Before this guy goes on some fucking crazy rampage, he probably would have taken advantage of a 16-year-old kid and all that.
I would have beat Skinny.
Make sure to follow us.
Make sure you like and subscribe to the winner. Number 1. He was.
Hey, we're at 84 subscribers. Let's get to that 100 before the season starts. Like and follow us on Insta, X, YouTube, Insta, Facebook. You're a son of a bitch. I can't. Spotify. What all? Cheers. Fuck you. Oh, you're gonna chug a blue moon? Oh, I feel sorry for you.
What's all about?